gentlemen, the Hustler of the Year, Lito Takeover!
The legend.
What's going on, man? Hey, sorry about that. I was on the other side.
Oh, it's no problem. I'm honored to have you on, man. Real quick, let me just give you your due. Real quick, I got to. Now, usually I prepare for a lot of my interviews, but you know, when I really pushed for this interview with you because you are literally in my top three favorite movies. Literally, the work that you've done throughout your career, you so cool. They just call you by your first name.
Actually, when you know somebody, right, you only refer to when you know
I think you just went out on me a little bit, Leon.
as they're on their first name, right?
Uh-huh.
Or you give them initials.
Right. Hey, man. So it's your boy Lito Takeover. This is the Takeover Files. We are honored to have this iconic. He's more than a legend, man. One of the pioneers in acting. Not even acting, just being able to use multiple talents to create just an amazing person, man. Very talented, the one and only Mr. Leon Robinson. How you doing today, sir?
Good. I'm good, man. Good to be here.
Man.
Good to see you. Good to see a young brother making moves and doing things. It's always like to support.
Oh, I appreciate that. Man, and like I said, you know, my three favorite movies all time. All right, so this is how you can see where I'm at mentally growing up. The Five Heartbeats, to The Temptations, and Grease. That's my three favorite movies of all time, man. So, but
you love music.
I love music. Music number one, man. You missed it. My mom was in the comments going off the last time I was just on live. I had to tell her to cool down, man. So just taking it back. You know, some of the dopest roles. You know, Doris Hancock and Cool Runnings. That was my first time seeing you. So if we just go back, man, to your early acting career, how did you get into acting first and foremost? Because I know you were a hooper, and we saw that a little bit throughout your career as well.
Yeah. You know, I was a all everything basketball player in New York City, and went out to Loyola Marymount on a basketball scholarship because for some reason I wanted to go to Southern California. I don't know why. I wanted to escape the cold, I guess. And a graduate film student chased me down campus and begged me to be in his movie. And I was like, you know, would you get somebody from the theater arts department? I'm sure they'd be dying to be in your movie. And he was like, no, you got something, man. I just know you're going to be in the movies one day. I'm going to be the first one to put you in the movie. I don't know what. And I was like, all right, let's go for it.
And you didn't know him or anything?
Didn't know him, no. And then I had a very comfortable feeling on the set like I did it before. Weird. And so I changed my major, became a drama major, started doing theater, and just worked on my craft. Yeah.
Wow, man. And that shows, you know, what's for you is for you. You get that, like you said, you get that feeling, you know, on the inside when it just seems like it's going on the right path. So, but prior to that, did you ever have any, you know, thoughts of acting or theater just coming up as a kid in New York?
Yeah. When I was in grammar school, I put on my own stage production because I saw my sister's class do a rock and roll revival. And I was like, I went to Catholic school, so we used to have this corny variety show every year. So I could convince the nuns to let me do this. And it was sold out. We had to do it 2 more nights. It was great.
Oh, man. So how, like, just how does your family feel, you know, knowing that you did that play, you know, grammar school, and then once you evolved into your acting career, you know, how was that just as far as in the family and the household?
It was different, you know. I mean, I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, and the Bronx, and so, you know, it's not like I grew up in Malibu and my dad was a director, and you know,
right.
It's like all my other friends, you know, they're in LA. So, it was a different feeling, you know. Like I remember going home to a homecoming game, And, you know, you hear people talking when you're around and stuff like that. And I heard somebody going like this, yo, man, yo, he's in the movies. But well, no, I'm serious. Like when he walks and talks, the camera follows him. So that's going to tell you that it wasn't a common thing in my neighborhood. No, by no means.
Did you ever get used to that reaction to people, you know, when they see you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, by now I hear it every day of my life, you know. So it's you know, for me personally, I love it more when they're calling me by my character names. I'm not really interested in them knowing, you know, being Leon and being famous like that. I want to be famous for my roles. That's what I want to be famous for.
Well, do you have some iconic role? One of my favorite, like I said, JT Matthews, Shep. Let's talk a little Shep real quick before we get. I know I'm jumping all over the.
Spread them fingers, boy. Spread them fingers.
Let's talk about Shep because he showed me how to spread them fingers now too. How did you get that role, and just what was that experience? Is like, you know, being a hooper and just playing in that above the rim.
Well, you know, I'd met with them, the producers in the studio, and at first, they just deemed I was too young for the role. You know, they'd offered it to my buddy Denzel, and he passed. And so, for whatever reason, I think he's busy, whatever. So, I came in, and it, you know, they just thought I was too young, which happens a lot. A lot of roles, and so, you know, I just convinced them that, you know, it's acting. You know, let me act. I'll be in the age I need to be. Just let me act.
Right.
And so luckily they did. You know, we made a little history.
And that's dope that you said that, because now looking back, a lot of your roles, you know, your character, for the most part, you know, starts one age and throughout the movie gets older, you know. So, you know, just to, you know, piggyback off what you said, you know, if you can act, you can act. So what?
And, you know, the problem is, you know, you don't often get those opportunities. But yeah, that's something that I'm glad you noticed, because that's kind of been my forte. You know, it's like if you want an actor that can play several decades in a movie or something like that, or age, you know, or be really younger and then grow and then, you know, age 20 years, something like that, I can usually handle that.
So a little bit about Above the Rim, because, you know, you Tupac's brother. So just, do you have any you know, any moments that you shared with Tupac on set, or if you had a relationship off set?
Wow. Yeah, you know, with me, you know, Tupac was just 100. You know, I mean, he was definitely wilding out during that movie. And, you know, some crazy stuff happened during that movie. But with me, he was 100. 100. And he said it from the beginning when we had a script read through. You know, he came in loud, bodacious. He came to me, bowed his head, and said, yo, you're not going to have a problem with me. He said, because you are in the 5 Heartbeats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, to this day, man, people hold that movie reverent. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even back then, you know, it was like, Tupac was like, you're in the 5 Heartbeats, man. I ain't messing with you.
Yeah. It's crazy, you know, how that movie, just to piggyback, I know I'm going back and forth with the 5 Heartbeats, man. It's so monumental. And it's not even a real group. Like, you know, I was so heartbroken. Like I told you, when I first got that VHS tape, I used to watch, I had the TV, which you put with the VCR text. I would watch it every night. And I remember like 4th, 5th grade, I'm arguing with one of my homies. And it was like not boy, it was like, yeah, Boys the Men versus the best R&B groups. I'm like, yo, 5 Heartbeats better than everybody. Y'all tripping. My boy like, bro, 5 Heartbeats not a real group. No, I heard the soundtrack. I saw it. That was the biggest heartbreak of my life, you know.
Yeah, so, we were doing an interview, I think Robert Townsend and I, and someone said that when they found out that the 5 Heartbeats wasn't a real group, it was equivalent to when they found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
I 1,000% agree with that. Oh man. So how did that role come about? You know, some of my favorite scenes on the 5 Heartbeats it are ones that doesn't particularly, you know, stand out to people my age, but when you guys were on tour and the cops pulled you over and they said, you know, you'll sing something for me.
Mm-hmm.
What was that scene like, just, you know, as a Black man reliving those moments?
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, what's really amazing about it is that, and unfortunate at the same time, is that we don't have to really have been in that time period to really know what that feels like. I'm a black man in America. I've been pulled over by the cops many times, you know, asked to lay down on the ground, all that stuff, you know, and I'm sure you've had a similar experiences and people you know. So when we play a role and we play a scene like that, you know, unfortunately, as a black man, we could draw upon some real experience.
Mm, mm. You're absolutely right about that, man. And that you know, that scene just always touched me. Just, you know, just wonder like, man, you know, they were traveling across the world and it didn't matter. They had a #1 record and it didn't matter because of the color of their skin. So, you know, it definitely makes you and it's, you know, appreciate the times we're in now, even though we're still not that far from there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, that's the life that we're in, the world that we're in today.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's real, you know, and that's it. And it's crazy because I remember posting a picture of us on my IG from that scene, and it was right in the middle of everything that was going on, you know, like you know George Floyd and all the stuff that we're dealing with, you know, and it was like, you know, hey, people were like, wow, things haven't changed.
Right. Right. Mm. Um, just to switch up the tempo a little bit, you've played with you've acted with some beautiful women.
Not enough.
But one role in particular that wasn't a movie that I feel like really took a lot of things to a whole new level, Like a Prayer with Madonna. When you got that call.
Yeah, yeah, that was that was a lot. That was big news, I guess. Yeah.
So how was that, you know, just acting in that video? And you know, right before, you know, that real peak when everything started to go to that next level.
Um, you know, it was great. Madonna was great. She was very generous, very cool. We had a lot of fun on and off the set. You know, she was great, and I'm happy to be able to share in that moment and making history with her. You know, had no idea that it was going to be the front page of the news all around the world. Had no idea it would be the #2 video of the century after Thriller. I mean, you know, I hadn't even done a music video before, and I wasn't, and I turned that one down a couple of times because I just didn't see why I would be doing a music video.
Hmm.
You know, the director Mary Lambert was a feature film director, and she explained the story to me, and I realized what they wanted was an actor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not a model, because they had been looking all around the country at models and everything, and so I was like, well, you know, if you want me to act, that's cool. You know, but,
And that's at the
I'm glad you think I look as good as these models. So, but I gotta act.
no, man, that really said, you know, from that moment, it's like a lot more actors started to be in music videos and even like more acting skits in the music videos, the movie roles. So that was definitely, you know, another monumental just moment in your career. A lot of people don't know that Oz was the first HBO series.
Yep, I set it all off, dude. Oz was the first series on HBO, first like cable thing, you know, they got people going, you know,
Well,
yeah.
everybody loved Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson. Yeah, you know, people were mad. Even the writer and the creator of the show, his mom called him, and she never calls him by any of his shows. And he's done Homicide: Life on the Streets, St. Elsewhere, everything. And she called him and said, "How you kill Jefferson King? What kind of writing is that?"
Oh, right.
But unfortunately, it was contractual. You know, I had to go off and do other things like the Temptations.
No. And I'm happy that you just brought that up because that was a great segue. They not here to see me. Ain't nobody here to see me. They here to see you, Leon. So, tell me a little bit about just being David Ruffin. You know, what was your thought process into portraying, you know, this real life, way more than an artist, just iconic man in our world, in our history?
Well, you know, anytime you take on somebody who walked and talked on this earth, and someone who was an amazing talent and a legend, you know, like him or Little Rich, you know, anybody else I might have the chance to play, you owe it to the people that actually know them, that
Mm.
the, you know, relatives, friends, people that know him, to capture his essence. You know, you can't obviously always look just like them. You can't always be like them. You can't always sound like them, but you capture the essence of their character.
Mm.
And David was a strong character, and it was important for me to make sure that he was strong in the movie. And so, yeah, I mean, very happy with that movie. Very happy with performances of every single actor in that movie. You know, my fellow Temptations. I mean, in my eyes, they were just as good as me. And it was just, and Alan Arkus did a great job of directing. And you know, just I'm proud to be in that movie. Proud to represent the Temptations. You know, legendary group that is still around today.
So was that your real voice? Now, a lot of people wanted to know, you know, even with the Five Heartbeats, were you actually singing? Were they your vocals?
No. And this Five Heartbeats, the singers were chosen by Robert before he cast the actors.
Mm.
What characters he wanted, how they wanted to sound. And David Ruffin, you know, one of the selling points of making like Motown movies and stuff, you know, is recapturing the remastered recordings. Nobody sings like David Ruffin.
Right.
It's like, be real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was definitely David Ruffin's remastered voice, yeah.
I definitely thought you was hitting that a little bit softer now, a little more softer now. I thought that I know, man. But now you do
takes a lot of work and a lot of rehearsal.
So what, you know, just comparing playing David.
When you'd hear me singing is when, like, in the middle of a scene, like,
Okay.
like Little Richard, when I'm in the car, you know, and they're talking about, you know, my sexualization, and I bust out the song. That's me. Or like in the scene with you know, Ain't Nobody Come to See You, Otis. When I sing that,
And I refuse to let you go.
That's all.
Okay. Oh man. So did you have what were some of your like difficulties that you faced, you know, just playing, you know, a Little Richard or a David Ruffin, being as though they are real people and wanting, you know, the people that actually know them, you want them to feel like they're, you know, watching them. So what were some difficulties that you might have faced?
Well, with Little Richard, that was even different, and more responsibility because he was alive.
Right.
You know, I talked to him before I took on the role, and you know, and he came by the set. You know, so that's a whole nother thing to play somebody who actually is
there.
You know, so, but yeah, you know, with roles like that, for the most part, you know, I just throw myself into them. I'm no longer Leon for that time. And I just stay in character the entire time. And so, and I'm lucky to be able to do that sometimes, you know, with a role, because it allows me to really take you on a journey and never become that person. And, you know, that's really the key when you're playing somebody, because once they believe you're that person, then you can take them anywhere. You know, I can make them believe I can, you know, steer a bobsled.
Right. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. No, man. And now to bring it a little forward, because while it's on my mind, I love your character in Games People Play. You know, that's a series that I just, you know, started watching not too long ago. Season 2 was phenomenal. Walter King, tell me about tell the people about that role. You know, I didn't know I didn't know if he was trying to finesse, you know, his son at first or what, bringing a wife in, but then, you know, as the last 2 episodes came on, we understood, you know, the hardship that he was going as a father losing his wife.
Oh yeah,
as a husband losing his wife. So if you just talk to me about that role a little bit.
Well, you know, I always think that it's great to be able to show a Black man loving his son, but not his child son, his adult son.
Yeah.
You know, we don't see enough of that. We don't see enough of that. You know, that father-son love amongst adults that's necessary and that's important. You know, when we become young men, we don't grow out the need for our parents. We don't grow out the need for their love and their guidance. You know, especially in a situation where, you know, your mom has passed and your dad is all you have. You
Right.
know? So I was happy to be able to portray that, you know, and I did Tracy Edmonds, you know, has done a great job producing that show. I'm happy for her, and yeah, and it's I'm glad I was able to contribute.
No, definitely added much value into the show. Just play with the storyline, waking him up the next morning, those phone calls, and that's things that, that we need to see as Black men. I'm not a father yet, but, that sparks something in me for when I do get the age, okay, that's the type of tough love, that's the type of things that you need to do for your child, especially raising Black men today.
Right.
I have a few more questions for you, not too much more. Like I said, honored to have you on the show. I want to talk a little bit about the music, though. Leon and the Peoples.
Please do.
Now, International Reggae and World Music Award nomination for the debut album. Tell me a little bit about yourself in the band and just what was that experience like on the other side of entertainment or another aspect of entertainment?
Well, it's great. I mean, that's, I feel so blessed that I can go rock a crowd with my band. It makes the acting world is a rough world. It's you're depending on other people to give you roles and to have projects made, and so in between that, I can go out and do my thing, and it's incredible because when you see me acting, what I'm doing is I'm breathing life into a writer's words, and their characters that they've created, but when I'm singing with Leon and the Peoples, that's me. Those are my songs. Those are songs that I wrote. Those are songs that I want to sing. And, and there's nothing like, I got to tell you, there's no experience like, singing your original song to a crowd and having them sing it back to you.
Right.
So I dig it.
I know that's right. So when did you realize that, you had this voice or that you were, in love with music?
I was always been in love with music.
Oh.
There was a lot of music in my house. My dad was, an avid singer and loved Nat King Cole. So I think I know every Nat King Cole song since the time I was 10. And so, yeah, I just love it. I remember being in college and I wrote and performed the song for the Special Olympics. And yeah, I've always loved music. Yeah.
And so I saw someone in the comments said, where can they find the album, music, or anything? So
You can find Leon and the Peoples on anywhere you buy music. iTunes, we have our own channel on Spotify and on Pandora, Apple Music. Our latest album is called Love is a Beautiful Thing. Happy to say we had 2 songs that charted on Billboard in the top 20 when it first came out. And yeah, please. And buy music, and please, I'm very active on social media. So after you listen to the album, hit me up. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, and we can definitely vouch for that being active on social media because that's a big reason why this was possible. Real quick, I have a fan question, all right? What was your favorite role by Just Call Me Jab, straight out of Jacksonville, Florida?
My favorite role is the one that, what was his name?
Jab. Jabril.
My favorite role, Jab, is the one that you love the most, okay? Because I don't watch my movies. I make them for y'all. So whatever one you dug, that's my favorite.
Now you said you don't watch your movies. Why is that?
Before, I mean, what I'm gonna do, pick myself apart. Like I'm too critical. I'll be,
yeah.
Why hold my head like that, man? Or maybe I would have done something different. It's like, I don't need to watch it over and over again. I mean, don't get me wrong. If something comes on, I don't like turn my head and walk out the room.
Right.
But like you're not calling me and saying, yo, what you doing, man? Yo, I'm sitting there, I'm watching my joint, The Temptations, yo, I'm killing that shit. No, that's not me.
Going there, read and saying the roles with yourself, saying the lines with yourself and everything.
Yeah, definitely no. That's not me.
So, do you have any just any advice for any just talent? Just I don't even want to limit it to actors. Just anyone with talents that's falling in love with this entertainment industry.
Yeah, just realize that you don't get in it to be famous, because anybody can be famous. There's people with no talent that are famous. Get in it because it's the only thing in the world you want to do, because it's going to take a great deal of sacrifice, and a lot of no's. And, you got to be used to people saying no to you. So what I say to you is, man, if it's your hobby or something like that, that's one thing, but if you're talking about really doing this, you got to be ready to roll up your sleeves and get to work. There's a lot of competition out there. It's a lot of people, a lot of men, women, children, that can act. And, you got to find what makes you special, what sets you apart from others. That's, I think, is the most important thing.
All right. Now I do have one last final question. It's a fair question. And it's a great question at that. They asked, did you ever turn down a role then later regret it?
Did you ever turn down a role and later regret it? I can say that maybe I would look at a role. I don't usually look at a role and see someone playing a role and think that, hopefully think that I should be playing it, because if an actor does a great job in a role, you should never imagine anyone else playing it. Right. So even if there's a role that came across my desk and, usually maybe I wasn't available for it or turned it down or didn't even get it or whatever it is that usually, hopefully when I see it, all I hope is that the actor that's playing that role is killing it. Right. And that I'm thinking, yeah, that was his role, Right. Right, yeah. Right. But one thing about me, you have to realize I'm very pro actors, very pro Black. I'm very pro anything that I do and am, and I root for everybody doing it because I know that it's not easy, Someone has success, I applaud it always, man, and I always wish that they reach all the heights that they want, because why not? We're all in this. We all trying to do the same thing,
Absolutely right. Man, just honored to have you on the show. I appreciate you for your career. I'm sure you've changed many lives, not only in your family, but outside of your family. Before we do get off of it, I do have one request. All right, one request. Now, I'm Lito. Can I get ain't nobody here to see me, Lito? And nobody coming to see me, Lito?
Well, I got to tell you this, right? I don't ever say my lines from the movies. I don't, because you know why? I don't think I'll do them justice. It's so long since I did those. And I think the people that say it to me, I see people doing it, they actually do it better than me because they've been watching it. They've been watching it, they've been watching it and saying it over and over again. Like I haven't said those lines I did the movie. Right.
Hey, I definitely practiced Shy Brother a couple times with my cousin, so I might got you on that one.
I hope it works for you. I hope it works.
No, hey, Leah, man, Mr. Robinson, thank you. Honored, definitely a privilege. It's been a pleasure to just have you on the show. I've grown up off of you. And just thank you. Thank you for the timeless movies, the timeless roles, and just the iconic man that you are, the legend, the one and only.
Well, I appreciate the words. I really do, man. And keep doing your thing, all right?
Thank you. Looking forward to, staying in touch with you. Hopefully this is the first of a few more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and watch out for my new movie coming out March 3rd called A Day to Die. With Bruce Willis and Frank Grillo, action movie.
Man, over a 30-year career plus and still dropping movies. Bangers, Bruce Willis, A Day to Die?
Yeah, A Day to Die. Yeah, listen, man. I don't take it for granted, and I feel blessed they still want me. So as long as they still want me, I'm going to still give it to them. All right?
Man. Well, we're looking forward to many more years. The one and only, Mr. Leon Robinson. Right. Thank you. If y'all know, follow me, Lito Takeover. This is the Takeover Files, Season 12, Episode 2, the famous show, The Legend of GOAT, Mr. Robinson.
Yes, bless up.
I'm blessed, I thank God every day, for me being in this position.
Great entertainer, great on the mic, and then even a great worker.
I tell you could beat me one-on-one.
Mike could do that.
All right, I gotta put the shades on. Let me buck.